Welcome everyone to my new office. I just finished moving in so we can get back to making these videos. Thank you. Today we will talk about the $1 million inflation bet, and there are two parts to this bet: inflation and electric vehicles. But first, let's start with some comment follow-up. Tommy said, "How did you know that the market hit bottom at March 23rd and decided to buy all equities? I understand the rebalancing concept and would have a hard time executing this since I have difficulties with the timing of these rebounds." Tommy, no one can time the market unless you're me. No, there is no magic to this. I am only looking at the numbers. I have gone over that in this series. It is not that difficult to do this. A year ago, Willie Brown asked, "What do you think about all of this money printing?" This is a perfect lead into this video, by the way. To which I replied, "It is difficult to predict, but I expect inflation and the end of near zero rates as a result after this virus clears up." So guess what we got? Inflation and now the talk of rates going up. But we still have the virus, so there's that. But let's get back to this $1 million bet. We are talking about real estate here, and because of that, we did not use our money, we used the bank's money. Now, historically, for the past decade, I have talked about the stock market on this channel, but my thesis has shifted in light of recent events. So why is that? Well, my thesis is very simple. Real estate is one of the best hedges against inflation, and here's why. With a mortgage, I lock in my monthly expenses, and when you are renting, you're at the mercy of the market. In the last year alone, rent increased over 20% in my area, and my mortgage payments have stayed exactly the same. Except for when I did the cash out refi, the payment went up a little bit, but it's still covered by my renters, and I've already gone over that. Now, my girlfriend and I took out a small loan of $1 million.
My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
To buy multiple rental properties because we saw a huge opportunity.
It has not been easy for me.
We basically take out owner-occupied loans and switch off buying the properties, move to a new place like this, rent out the old one, and continue collecting properties. And the good news here is this isn't even our money, it's the bank's money. And for a conventional loan, you only need $100,000 down to qualify for a $500,000 property. And if you don't have $100,000, well, that's the purpose of this series. I told you exactly how I have made my money and how you can do the same thing, even without a high income job. So don't worry, start at the beginning
and catch up.
Now, the difference between real estate and the stock market is huge, and there are a lot of influencers on YouTube who push real estate on us because they're trying to sell us on their products. But I have historically not been a fan of real estate, and I've had very good reasons, which I've outlined on this channel. One of the biggest factors is time. Time to me is more important than money, and I do not like real estate because of the time component. Real estate can actually be a second job. It's a lot of work. Also, with real estate, instead of just looking at things like macroeconomics, microeconomics, politics, and earnings reports, we are also looking at the local economic activity to make our decisions. And to come up with an effective real estate thesis, what you want to do is spot a market inefficiency within your local economy. So some of the stuff I say in this video may not apply to your local economy. But it is a lot easier to spot a market inefficiency in real estate than it is in the stock market. So, what is a market inefficiency? It is a situation in which a financial market does not operate as well as it should. For example, where the customers do not have enough information about products and therefore the prices are not related to supply and demand. And to find this, you do have to do a little bit of analysis. So in my local market in Orange County, California, the largest market inefficiency that I could afford to get involved in revolves around entry-level housing and electric vehicles. When I was valuing properties, I found that garages did not have as big of an impact on the purchase price of real estate as they did in the rental market. Now, people who own places with garages in America typically use them to hoard their junk. And so on the appraisal report in America, the garage is listed as unlivable space. And as a result, These types of properties with these garages are selling for under market value because millennials and Gen Z are now coming along and actually using that space for their electric car. In the years that follow, you will see a shift in the pricing with these smaller entry-level units. The ones that have garages and the EV hookups will actually go up in value. That is my thesis. And it really is a very simple thesis. So what did we do? My girlfriend and I bought properties with garages and then made the garage into a livable space. We put paint, epoxy floors, and then added a level 2 EV charger, and immediately we had more desirable rentals. Now, why is that? It's really simple. Owning an electric vehicle in my local area is very inconvenient if you don't have a level 2 charger at home. When you take your Tesla to a supercharger, you will often find that there is a line to get into the superchargers, and that when you even get into the supercharger, half the time the damn thing doesn't even work. It's one of the most frustrating things about owning an electric vehicle. So by buying these entry-level EV-friendly properties, I can actually attract better tenants and ask for more rent. Why can I ask for more rent? Because owning an EV also allows my tenants to qualify for cheaper electricity when they're charging at home. As I outlined before, driving a Fiat 500e and charging at home saved me $500 a month over driving my truck. That is an enormous savings. That is your entire Roth IRA contribution for a year. These units already have positive cash flow right off the bat, but I believe that as EVs become more normal, the demand for these types of rentals will only increase, or at least that is my thesis. I cannot predict the future. So now I want to talk about the other part of my thesis, which is inflation. Part of my decision to move away from the stock market to real estate was that I expected inflation. Real estate is an excellent hedge against inflation, and as you know, the recent stimulus went way over the top. We are now seeing rent prices shoot through the roof, wages are increasing, the costs of goods and services are also increasing, so my real estate thesis is already becoming validated with all of these soaring prices. There's really not much more to it than that. It is a basic cause and effect, supply and demand scenario. And you can see that with this, that investing successfully is just not that difficult. So there it is, a summary of what I am doing with my money and the reasoning behind it. And if you are new here, I created a playlist of these videos to teach you how easy it is to do what I am doing. So if this video seems advanced, you can start at the beginning of the playlist. And taking control of your finances is not difficult, but does require some groundwork. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I will answer you back. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, make sure to enjoy your car.